welcome back to my channel. Here in this channel, we'll talk about relaxed hair care, hair growth tips, protective styling, and so much more concerning the hair topic in general. So if you know you're interested in this type of content, consider subscribing to join the family. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys different protective styles for relaxed hair. But it doesn't matter whether you are relaxed or natural, you can use these protective styles whatever your hair type. So I already made a part 1 of this video, which was my last video, so please do check that video out. So without further ado, let's just get started. So the first protective style I'm going to be talking about in this video are ponytail extensions. You know, I love ponytails a lot, but I usually don't do ponytails that often, like when my hair is not in protective styles, because of the fact that when my relaxed hair is in a ponytail, there is still a risk of damage or breakage to the ends because the ends are still exposed. So more frequently than not, I usually put my hair in buns when my hair is not in a long-term protective style. So I rarely use ponytail. I still do, but not as often as buns. So that's why I'm so much in love with ponytail extensions. I have not actually done this protective style before, but it's one of the protective style I'm going to be trying after I relax my hair, which is going to be coming up in a few weeks. You know, with ponytail extensions, even though you are going to enjoy the style and the look a ponytail gives you, there is no risk of damage or breakage to your ends. Your ends are still going to be protected. Of course, that depends on the method of installation as well. You know, if you put your hair naturally in a ponytail and you just blend in the extensions, your hair is still kind of exposed, so there is still a risk of damage, although not as much as compared to when you just use your hair. But the type that I'm particular about is when your hair is fully protected, like putting your hair in a bun and installing the extension over it, or braiding your hair and putting your hair in a knot and installing the ponytail extensions over it. You know, with this protective style, your ends are protected and you still have to enjoy the benefits and looks that comes with using a ponytail. So that's one of the advantage of installing ponytail extensions. Now, one of the disadvantage is that if you don't have very long hair or high density hair and the ponytail you install has more weight than the amount of hair you install it to, there is actually a very high risk of breakage or shedding from traction because of the excess weight of the ponytail on your hair. So if you're going to go for ponytail extensions, make sure the bun, the knot, or whatever you are going to be attaching it to has enough strength or weight to withstand the weight of the extensions. So make sure the base to which you are going to attach the ponytail extensions to is strong enough. Another option is to use very lightweight ponytails, because when you use this, there is less risk of breakage and shedding, traction, and all that to your hair. So that is for the ponytail extensions. Now, the second protective style I'm going to be talking about are bantu knots. This is one of my favorite protective styles, and this is actually the protective style I put my hair in prior to like my relaxer day, like 2 weeks prior to my relaxer day, because I usually take off my long-term protective styles about 2 weeks, if it's very close, 1 week prior to my relaxer day. And this is to allow enough time, enough room for my hair to recover, breathe from the stress of the long-term protective styles. So during this period where I can't really install another protective style, or where I can't put my hair simply in a bun, because I always say, and if you've been following me, you know this, that my hair cannot stay in a bun when I'm so many months post relaxer. I'm 10 months post relaxer right now, and I dare not put my hair in a bun because the way my roots are going to be matted, and it will be so matted beyond detangling. So that's why I cannot put my hair when I'm so many months post relaxer. So during this period prior to my relaxer day, what I use are normally bantu knots. So my bantu knots are usually not that many. Like I just put my hair in 6 sections, braid or twist my hair, and then put each section is a knot. So that's where I install my bantu knot, and I've not really carried the bantu knot like that as a method of protective style. So that's why the bantu knots I install are usually 6, because I just use them to protect my hair prior to my relaxer day. But I think now that I mentioned it, one of these days I'm going to try it out. Now the protective styles I'm going to be trying out are becoming so many. Like I really need to write them down. So I'm gonna try it one of these days, like use a bantu knot as a means of protective styling and not just to protect my hair prior to my relaxer day. So during that, I'm gonna be putting my hair in one section, like a full head of bantu knots and not just 6. So you can install bantu knots with just your natural or relaxed hair, or you can add extensions. I usually don't add extensions when I'm installing bantu knots, but I think when I'm going to try it out as a method of protective styling, I may install extensions depending on what I feel like that time. So installing extensions and using your natural hair, each of them has their own pros and cons. When you use extensions, there's more likelihood of your hair getting more dehydrated because some extensions can actually soak out moisture from your hair, and there's actually risk of friction between your hair strands and the strands of the extensions. But using extensions can actually give you a fuller look, like bigger knots, especially if you have low density hair. Now, using your hair on the other hand is more likely to stay more moisturized if you moisturize it, because you are just using your hair. There is nothing extra to soak out the moisture from your hair, and is usually more light weighted compared to when you add extensions. Now, one of the advantage of using bantu knots in general is just the simplicity. Like, the style is so simple, and I've usually not seen an ugly bantu knot. Maybe it's just me, because I see that bantu knots as a protective style has a way of bringing out the beauty of your face, and it's actually one of the reasons why I love it. Because when I see bantu knots, it actually gives me that, African feeling. I don't know if it's just me, but if you feel like this as well when you install bantu knot, please make sure to leave that in the comment section down below. So like I said, one of the advantages of bantu knot is that it actually brings out the beauty of your face, at least from my own perspective and from the ones I've seen. Another advantage is that your whole hair is protected. Your roots, your ends, every single thing is protected and tucked away. So those are some of the advantages of bantu knot. For the disadvantage, I can't really think of any. I don't know why I can't think of any disadvantage for bantu knots. If you've installed bantu knot before and there's a disadvantage about it, like there's something you didn't like about it, or you had a horrible experience with it, whatever you feel wasn't right with it, please make sure to drop that in the comment section down below. So that's it for bantu knots. Moving on, the next protective style I'm going to be talking about are flat twists. Flat twists are excellent method of protective styles when it just comes to tucking your hair away, a form of low manipulation, keeping your ends protected and all that, especially when you are using wigs. Now, there are different ways you can use flat twists. You can just install flat twists with your hair, or you can use extensions. Another way of using flat twist is with wigs. So each of them has their own pros and cons. Flat twist with just your hair is lighter, less risk of friction and dehydration. Flat twists with extensions are more heavy, but may give you a more aesthetic look if that's what you prefer. Now, flat twists with wigs, I would say, are the best when it comes to protecting your ends. That's just in my own opinion though, because with extensions, your ends are still exposed. With just your hair, your ends are still exposed to the environment and all that. But when you go on and cover it with a wig, your ends are tucked away. So it depends on the one you prefer, but flat twists generally are excellent methods of protective style, and whichever one you choose to install out of the three, with just your hair, with extensions, or your wigs, your ends are still going to be preserved. Like, there's going to be less risk of breakage compared to when you just decide to not put your hair in a protective style, or just decide to leave your hair in a ponytail where your ends are still free to rub against your clothes, the chair, the weather and all that, especially when your hair is long and the ponytail is long, so more risk of rubbing against the chair. So that's it for flat twist. Moving on, the next protective styles I'm going to be talking about are afro ponytails. This is actually similar to what I talked about earlier, ponytail extensions. But when I was talking about ponytail extensions earlier in the video, I meant like long ponytails. So this time around, I'm talking about fro ponytails, and this is excellent in a lot of ways. First of all, it's an excellent protective style, like I said, for protecting your ends. Ponytail extensions generally are great at protecting your ends. Outside that, if you are relaxed or if you are natural and your hair is flat ironed and you know you are missing the natural look, or you just want to spice things up and get a natural look, you can use the fro extensions like the fro ponytails, which can actually give you that look. You can make it just one at the back, or you can section your hair in two and install one fro extension in each side, or you can even go ahead and put on a full afro wig, to just cover everything. That can also give you the natural look. So most of the pros and cons are actually similar to those I talked about earlier for the ponytail extensions, so we are not going to waste much time here. So we are just going to move on to the next protective style, which is actually hair wraps. Now, wrapping your hair is not exactly a form of protective style. It is a protective style, but is not what we commonly know as a protective style. Now, wrapping your hair is excellent for protecting your ends, especially when you use a satin or silk wrap. It's great at preserving your roots, it's great at preserving your ends, it's great at locking in moisture. I think I would even say it's the best method of protective style, but for aesthetic reasons, people don't usually do this too often, but there are aesthetic ways to use wraps on your hair, so it's not as common as the other protective styles. But like I said, there are aesthetic ways to use wraps on your hair, which I'm going to talk about in another video, but that will not be soon, that will be later this year. So make sure to stay tuned for that video. So using hair wraps does not mean that you have to neglect your hair underneath. You can still install the previous protective styles I talked about. Put your hair in a bun, you can still flat twist your hair, you can still braid your hair, put your hair in bantu knots and all that, and still go ahead and wrap your hair. So using hair wraps actually has all the advantages you can think of. You can protect your ends, like I said, your roots can trap in moisture. It's lightweight as well, so there is no need for you to worry about traction and all that. It protects your hair from the environment, protects your hair from friction, because like there's a sort of barrier between your hair and the environment. But I would say, from my opinion, my perspective, using hair wraps is actually the best, but unfortunately we don't use it that common as the other protective styles, me myself included, so I'm guilty of this as well. Now, in order of protectiveness, like for the different protective styles I've mentioned, from the one in this video, the one in the previous video, and I have a very old video, I think about a year old now, where I talked about different protective styles as well. In that video I talked about box braids, twists and all that. So rating those styles in order of protectiveness from the highest to the lowest and all that is a topic for another day. Okay, so I think I'm going to make a different video on that. I'm going to tell you guys the best protective style and the least protective style, so I'm going to rank all of them in order of their protective effect. So make sure to stay tuned for that video. Now, in all the protective styles I've mentioned in this video, which is your favorite, which do you like most? Please make sure to leave that in the comment section down below. As for me, my favorite is, I'm not really sure, but I'll say ponytail extensions, like the long one, not the fro extensions, because I feel I look good in ponytails. I don't know if I've ever spoken to you guys in a ponytail before. Just my opinion though, I feel like my face looks good in a ponytail. I also love bantu knots as well, so I'm not so sure, but I think the ponytail extensions. So that's it for my favorites. And if you watched this video this far and you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And if you are new here and you already subscribed already, please subscribe to join the farm. Okay, please help my market and help us to grow this channel together, like help us to grow this family. And please don't forget to turn on the post notification bell as well, so that you will get notified whenever I upload a new video. So yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. That's it for this video, and see you in my next video. Bye.